Goliaths that I saw moving around the map across the bottom. We do have an Arbiter produced for any time as he's starting to move some of these forces out just a little bit, and there is a Nexus and a Cannon at the top left. Cannon being there to help defend against any of this sort of vulture harassment, and some vultures streaking towards the top of the map looking to try and maybe do some economic damage here. Some Dragoons are waiting for them, and there's an observer there as well, so these mines are not going to do much of anything. And some vultures also moving towards the top left, and it looked like they were able to sneak by the forces there. There's one cannon at the top left. Will that be... I don't know if that'll be quite enough. If there's a second cannon, he'll be in good shape. And you do have +1 weapons on the air units already for any time. So he did prepare for this very, very quickly, and I feel kind of proud having a kind of pseudo called producing one Arbiter and then right into carriers. Kind of saw that coming. That was kind of cool. Anytime I get to predict something right, I feel kind of, feel good predicting something correctly. It's hard to do in StarCraft once you get past the standard fare beginning builds. Other than that, predictions get very difficult, I think, anyways. But Firebathero sitting on his 4 bases, doesn't look like he knows that carriers are coming his way. Yeah, we're gonna play a late game, and I gotta think that this plays into the Sashin Toss's hands every minute we go on. That, especially as long as Firebathero doesn't know about the carriers. I mean, he's got 4 Goliaths now, but I really don't think that he's like spamming Goliaths or anything. Although he does have a ton of turrets there. Those are more to stop any sort of a recall from coming in. These are all, I think that these are all anti-recall turrets. I think. I don't think he knows about the carriers. Otherwise, we would see like a huge round of Goliath production. I would think to counter. I mean, it just makes sense, So we'll see. If you do see a huge influx of Goliaths, we'll know. 2 more bases coming up for any time on the left side, taking the natural expansion of the top left and the 9 o'clock base. So really trying to go expansion heavy here with these carriers. If you can keep a couple bases alive after the Terran finds out that you are going carriers and does their big tank push, you can be in very, very good shape as long as you can keep a couple bases alive. So that's a very important thing for a Protoss player to do when going for this kind of a build. And we do have Firebathero finally pushing out here, going with +1, +0 on his upgrades. Not the best upgrades overall. Here we are about 15 minutes into the game, and really only 1-0 upgrades for Firebathero. Not the best upgrades. We do see most Terran players do go pretty heavy on the upgrades in terms of how they like to fight their battles in terms of their timing, but this is just a 1-0 upgrade, 1-1 now, so we'll see if this was actually like a 2-1 push that just was started slightly early, something like that. And here comes the Arbiter stasising a vessel, and then stasising 4 more tanks, kind of getting the front tanks, though not getting very many of the back tanks, and some Zealots streaming in, trying to get to the tanks, and now they're going to pull back. Not enough Dragoons, not enough forces here to really take down this push, but able to delay it slightly. But there are a lot of tanks left, not a whole lot of damage done, so Firebathero's got to be pretty confident right now. That was definitely a very good engagement for him right as it stands. And he can continue his push, and a lot of tanks coming in here. These Dragoons need to back off, can't afford to stay there too long. And here come the carriers. The carriers are about to be revealed. There they are. Say hello to my little friend. The carriers have arrived, and they will be picking off tanks and Goliaths left and right. This is a brilliant carrier tech switch. Really just not that many Goliaths yet, so not really able to do too much. Oh, looks like one carrier maybe went down, or was that no, I think that was an interceptor. I don't think he actually got a carrier. I think that was just an interceptor that blew up really close to the carrier, so it looked kind of suspicious. But some scans going off, it looks like, so Firebathero maybe has an idea that the base is at the 9 o'clock position, maybe going to go take it down. Command center being produced as well. Firebathero going to try and work on taking the bottom left bases. And now anytime just moving in with these carriers, trying to pick off as many tanks as he can, one by one, pick off, one by one. And really, really Firebathero at this point should be being very, very aggressive, just trying to attack with these tanks, trying to take down as many bases as he can, and reinforce with Goliaths. I don't know why he's being so passive with them. He's just losing their number, really. It's not really doing him much good. But these carriers, he's got some pretty solid carrier micro here against the Goliaths. He does have a lot of carriers up right now. He's got 4 or 5 out in the field, and he's got another 3 or so at home. So he's looking pretty good right now overall. And some Zealots and Combined Force coming in here to try and take down these tanks. And a big storm going off. Huge storm! That was a huge storm doing so much damage. A lot of those tanks are extremely damaged. Most of those tanks are very close to dead. And it looks like he's finally grouped all of his carriers together. So when these 7 carriers get revealed together, they are going to be able to do a ton of damage and take down these units very quickly of Firebathero. So Firebathero kind of is on the back foot, does not have the Goliath numbers to really fight off this number of carriers. This is a lot of carriers. We also do have 6 more gateways thrown up at the top left. So anytime going to be able to reinforce his ground forces along with producing these carriers. You know, sometimes you'll see players produce 12, 14 carriers or something just absolutely sick like that. But I think anytime's going to continue producing ground forces as well, mixing some high Templars, try and keep a mixed force as much as he can. Anytime now moving to the right side of the map, going to take down this base at the 3 o'clock position. Firebathero trying to send a couple Goliaths here, probably not going to be able to defend this, to be honest. This command center probably going to fall. We'll see. Some Zealots and Dragoons moving in to try and take down the Goliaths that are sent to try and defend this. And we do have a High Templar there with a nice storm going off, catching a lot of the Goliaths and a DT as well. So here comes some the carriers in and the DTs, some Dragoons coming in from a couple different directions to try and finish this up. And Firebathero being outclassed here in the later stages of this game, completely outclassed. Not even just being taken to school, really. Not a very good-looking game for Firebathero as we've moved on to the later stages. He has not looked very good. Does not look like he really has a strong grasp of what he's trying to do. As when these carriers were revealed, kind of being willy-nilly with his tanks, not noticing any times expansions when they were going up. Very slow to realize the expansions were coming up. That was really that was one of the big things as well. Really, he should have just taken his tanks and pushed towards the top left, tried to take down those bases as well as he could. And I think he could have had a lot more success when there was only like 3 or so carriers and reinforced with Goliaths. But this is it, folks. There's no way that Firebathero is going to be able to hold. Well, I shouldn't say that. He might be able to hold, but he's not going to be able to win. These carriers are growing in too many numbers, and there's too many bases supporting these carriers. I mean, if carriers don't have a whole lot of base support, and it's mostly just the carriers and maybe one mineral line or something supporting, you can try and take it down. But when it's this many bases supporting the carriers, and well, although I guess if Anytime just sits there like this and lets his carriers eat it, could end up poorly. But really, I don't think that. I still, even though Anytime's not even microing, well, yeah, not microing very much, I still don't think it's gonna matter. I still think it's just too far gone. Anytime moving towards a natural expansion right now, coming into that turret wall that was made for his arbiters, but you know, they will help. They will certainly help a lot versus these carriers. Just gotta wonder whether it'll be enough. And a big storm going down right over the top of those Goliaths. Another storm going down. Doing some damage to a couple more Goliaths. Another storm. So many storms coming in here from the Death God, and just doing a fantastic job with these storms, with these carriers. And yeah, Firebathero is on his last legs. Looks like he's trying to set up some base in the bottom left to try and delay this game, but realistically, he doesn't have the capacity to really fight off these carriers, particularly if they get reinforced and microed well, which Anytime is not really he was microing them pretty well early on, but it looks like he's kind of stopped microing them as much as he should. So we've seen those carriers number kind of fall a lot, but still, I mean, you can see this is just an inexorable pushing towards Firebathero's main, and it will be over. Firebathero is going to fall, and Anytime going to get a win in his comeback tour with Hwasong Oz. Yeah, Oz. Yeah, Anytime. Awesome. So that's pretty sweet. Anytime getting a win here. As soon as Firebathero realizes just how far behind he is, and just how impossible it's going to be for him to fight this back. He doesn't have the forces. I mean, if he had like 6 or 7 more factories in the bottom left building, you could maybe see how he could maybe produce 3 or 4 rounds of Goliaths and come back to win this with some good Goliath micro or something like that. But he doesn't have the money for that. He doesn't have the infrastructure for that. So not really going to matter. And units for Anytime just streaming into Firebathero's base, just waiting for GG. Carriers moving towards the bottom left, starting to do some damage. A lot of idle SCVs for Firebathero, and some DTs moving towards the bottom left as well. Just waiting for GG still from Firebathero. You know, Firebathero sometimes just stays in games too long. I kind of want to see a Pylon Heart. Maybe a big Pylon GG or something. I don't know. I could go for some scouts. Scouts would be pretty cool. 6+3, 3/1 upgraded carrier interceptor. So I mean, these command centers are going to fall very, very quickly. This mineral only at the bottom right is about to go down. A bunch of SCVs here at the bottom left are going down. This command center is just about done. Looks like he's actually focusing on the refinery in order to allow this command center to live a little bit longer, just for kicks and giggles. Don't really see any other point to it. And a barracks coming towards one of the bases of Anytime and running right into cannons. So hopefully that barracks dies to cannons just for more kicks and giggles. And at what point will Firebathero say that he's had enough? Like, seriously, what does he think he's doing? Don't even understand this. Pulling that, oh, he's trying to pull that mine into the SCVs. That would have been kind of cool. Just for fun. But here comes the death push. The final push. The last ride of the carriers. Going to finish off this base at the 6 o'clock position, and maybe, just maybe, this will be enough to finally force the GG. And yeah, I am honestly to this point just a little bit bored, a little bit just annoyed that Firebathero is still playing. Actually, I shouldn't say a little bit annoyed. Very, very annoyed that Firebathero is still playing. He has no chance of victory. Really, there's really no chance of victory. And just forcing us to sit here and watch, really. Some tanks going to the 3 o'clock position. Maybe he can take down this base. Actually, he probably won't, because there's a bunch of units streaming right across the middle of the map to get there, and that's going to be enough. And now, not even microing anymore is Anytime. Just throwing units around and letting them go. I really hope he builds some scouts. It's about time, I think. About that time, righto? Righto. Just GG, Firebathero. Just GG. So over. It's like beyond over at this point. Where are the scouts? There's the GG from Firebathero. So this is it. Anytime getting the victory in his first game back with Wasong Oz as captain. And spoiler alert, you can just end the video now if you don't want to know what happened in the rest of the series. But Wasong Oz did end up winning this series, so very, very cool. They got a victory in the round 2. And I got one more game I'm going to do. I'm going to do Jangbi versus Saint. So that is the last single set for the day. And yeah, I will see you guys all in that game. See ya.